Let's start off with a hypothetical scenario. Say you're in need of some extra cash, and so you put an ad in the paper saying you'll do anything for work. A couple days later, you get a ring on your telephone and you answer it. On the other end is a guy named John, and he's wanting to meet up and talk about a potential job offer. Well, you accept and you meet John in a dark alley with a bunch of his 250-pound friends. It turns out John is a mob boss, and he has some pretty interesting jobs for you to do, but he doesn't want to pay you in cash. Instead, he chooses Bitcoin. Well, given who he is, you don't really want your Bitcoin transactions tied to him, as that could cause a few legal implications, so you decide to go through what is called a Bitcoin tumbling service, so that way you can make your coins anonymous, so they can't be tracked back to the mob. But before going any further, we want to say that this video was made for education and entertainment purposes only. Anything you do outside of this video is on you, especially if you're in the mob. We don't need any of those kinds of problems here at Whiteboard Crypto. Welcome to Whiteboard Crypto, where we explain complex cryptocurrency topics using stories and examples so that you can understand it very easily. So easily that you could probably explain these topics to your grandparents. Let's dig in. What is a Bitcoin tumbler? Before we get into what a Bitcoin tumbler is, let's explain why you need one. See, any transaction on almost all blockchains are all public. This means you can literally see and track where all the money is going. If I send you money, I can simply click on your wallet address, see how much money you have, who else has paid you, and where you spent all of your money. Now this is a big privacy risk. Just imagine if one of the big US banks went, "We're going to release all of our customers' bank statements." It would be one big problem because nobody wants their bank details leaked. It's about privacy. For example, if you have $3 million, you probably don't want your neighbor or your mother-in-law knowing. But also, if you only have $3, you don't want your friends knowing that either. So back to our example. Let's say there is a wallet address that is known to be tied to the mob. We look at your account and we go, the mob paid you $20,000? Is there something you want to tell us? We can do simple analysis and find out who is paying you. Now this is good and bad, especially in cryptocurrency, but usually we want our own personal money matters to stay private. So a Bitcoin tumbler attempts to fix this. The goal is where you hide where your money is going and you hide where it's coming from, or at least you hide it from anyone other than yourself. So here's how it works. Imagine if the police were looking for you because you didn't leave a like on this video. If you haven't already, you should hit that like button, otherwise they'll be looking for you soon. The information given by the suspect says he was wearing a red shirt. Well, all we know is that this suspect is a guy because they said he, and that he's wearing a red shirt. So let's say you're running down the street because you still haven't clicked the like button and you find a cool bar, so you pop into that bar. But you find out they only let in people with red shirts. Wow, it must be your lucky day. So there's probably 100 people with red shirts in here, and now the police have absolutely no idea which person to question. So they start questioning them all. And at any point, if you wanted to, you could run out of the bar unnoticed. There is no way to track you because it would take way too long to search through all the people with red shirts on and then question them. And then maybe by the time they're halfway done, the bar will shut down. Well, this is essentially what a Bitcoin tumbler is. We're mixing up all of our Bitcoin through a bunch of other wallets that essentially want to do the same thing. As an example, our one Bitcoin goes in with 499 other people's Bitcoins, and then they mix them all up and then they send that one Bitcoin back to whoever sent it. In real life, these tumblers cost fees, and they're much more complicated than that because we really want to make sure that you cannot track the Bitcoin so that it stays hidden. To do this, we can run a Bitcoin through a tumbler hundreds of times, making it almost impossible for someone to track that transaction, even if that someone is a government with lots and lots of technology, resources, and time. One thing to know about Bitcoin tumblers is they become more and more secure the more and more people that use them. For example, if me and you put in a Bitcoin to a tumbler, it would be a 50% guess as to where each Bitcoin went. But if 100,000 people put in a Bitcoin, the odds are much, much lower, and they are exponentially compounded if the tumbler tumbles a few times. Another thing to note, we keep mentioning one Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be one Bitcoin. You could use 0.00001 Bitcoin or 100 Bitcoins. The tumbler will chop them up and slice them around so you can't track them by simply knowing the total amount. Because, for example, it would be pretty easy if 420.69 Bitcoins went in and then 420.69 Bitcoins came out. It'd be easy to track that transaction. One last thing to note, we also keep mentioning Bitcoin tumbler, but Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to use this. In fact, any cryptocurrency can create and use a tumbler. It's just a concept. There are Ethereum tumblers, Litecoin tumblers, BNB tumblers, and there will probably be many, many more since they are useful and serve a very valuable purpose. Let's move on to another very big and important question. Is a Bitcoin tumbler illegal? Bitcoin tumblers themselves are simply technology. They're pieces of code, so I would venture to say they are hardly illegal. However, they are commonly used for illegal activities, such as money laundering or what is called structuring. You can look that up on your own time. We don't really want to explain that. Recently, Roman Sterlingov, who is the CEO of Bitcoin Fog, was actually arrested for running a Bitcoin mixer platform, and he was arrested under the alleged charges of unlicensed money transmission, money laundering, and money transmission without a license. We'll let you decide if those have anything to do with a Bitcoin tumbler, or if they have more to do with what he was doing with the money. As you can see, this is already a start in the direction of the government cracking down on the use of Bitcoin tumblers and their uses. An important thing to note here is that the users of Bitcoin Fog, the people that actually use the platform, were technically anonymous. All the data required to join the tumbler was a username and a password. So it's not like the government is going after all those who use the service, just the person who hosted the service. Of course, the government doesn't like mixers. It removes their ability to regulate, control, and track money. As always, we aren't here to add our political opinion, just to educate. So if you're worried about being involved in a process like this, but also want the benefits of untraceable cryptocurrency trading, you can use what are called privacy coins. For example, privacy coins like Monero and Dash allow you to send your coins anonymously. These features give us privacy without the issue of what the Bitcoin Fog guy ran into. We're going to make a video specifically on privacy coins in the future, and if you're interested and want to watch that video, make sure to click the subscribe button because we are always coming out with new and important cryptocurrency topic videos. So in conclusion, the function of a Bitcoin tumbler can be achieved many different ways, but the intention is to create privacy around the money and cryptocurrency that you own. With a tumbler, you are essentially just mixing up your funds with a bunch of other funds so that your true funds are very difficult to trace, whether you have bought something illegal or if you just don't want your parents to know that maybe you bought a pregnancy test. Either way, they have a purpose. We hope that you enjoyed this video, we hope that you learned something, and we hope to see you in the next one.